Today we're gonna end up having a walkthrough practice inside today, just with the shorter week. So we'll have that today. As far as COVID and the COVID, we have returning from COVID today will be Larry Borum, Eddie Jackson, and Sam Kamara. And then placing on COVID today will be Jesper Horsted. No updates on players other than, when we let you know in regards to the activation list. We'll see as far as with the coaches too, how that goes. And so nothing there. One injury note just with in regards to Justin. Justin, he finished the game, but over the last couple of days, he's been dealing with a ankle. So he tweaked it in the game, and he brought it up to us yesterday. So he's going to be limited today in practice when he's out there. It's a mental day right now for all the guys anyway. So I just wanted to bring that up, and we're just going to be smart and protect them with that. All other injuries we'll go ahead and we'll report after practice. One last thing here. I know Jeff Dickerson is not here today, but I just want to let Jeff know and that we're thinking about you and your family right now and everything that you're going through. And we're sending nothing, and I'm sending nothing but positive vibes to you and your family, man. So just wanted to let you know that. With that, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions.
All right, first question, Hub.
Hey, Matt. I hope you're doing well. I'm curious for your take on the Tevin Jenkins, Jermaine Ifedi exchange Monday night. I didn't really see everything that happened until I got to look at the tape, and I guess there's two sides to that story. So how do you feel about the whole exchange?
Yeah, I actually saw. I could see Ifedi when it was all going down afterwards. I could see him trying to get him to go back and and just be smart. So many. In those type of situations, there's so much that goes on that we see and don't see. Everybody involved, and then there's TV copies. And so I think the biggest thing in that is that you have two guys that are trying to do whatever they can in a situation to help each other out. These guys, if Hub, I mean, the way that Juan has this O-line room and how tight they are, these guys are like brothers in there. And so you got big brother and little brother, in my opinion. That's what that was. And Jermaine is doing nothing but trying to tell them, hey, let's be smart. We understand where we're at. And you got Tevin, who's trying to protect his quarterback. So it's all for a good cause. And when you're in those moments, sometimes that stuff happens. So I just appreciate the protection that they all have for each other.
I guess part of my question, I didn't really see until typical Tevin got pushed in the face and pushed back in the face. I thought it was less mature than that. So I think what I'm hearing from you is that really both guys were probably trying to do the right thing.
That's what you're hearing. Yeah, that's at least what my opinion of it. And again, it hasn't. I mean, at least on my end, it hasn't even been brought up or discussed or mentioned. Those guys are just they've moved on, and we all have moved on to. We've talked about learning in those situations to try to do everything we can to be better there, myself included.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Matt, when Justin Fields was drafted, one of the most popular comps was Russell Wilson. Just wondering if that's fair, if that's accurate, and if you saw it that way, and if so, what attribute most of Wilson's applies to Justin? What can he learn from a guy like that?
Oh, the difference that when I was back in Philly evaluating Russell, the one biggest difference that you saw his senior year was he had a massive offensive line and a lot of under center stuff. So that part of the game was different evaluating him versus Justin schematically. But when you look at the player and you look at just who they are, the person, the obsession that they have for this game. I mean, you talk about two quarterbacks that are winners. You talk about two quarterbacks that just care so much about competing. And the other thing that I think you see, and I've always seen this about Russell, and you're going to continue to see this with Justin, is in big time moments, you make big time plays. And I think that's probably the similarities that Justin will end up providing when his career is all said and done, because he just has that. Russell's done it his whole entire career. So the play style, the one thing that I think is kind of funny and it's pretty neat to see is just that everybody knows in the football world that when Russell is scrambling and he gets towards the sideline, he always sticks the ball out with one hand. And in the limited snaps that y'all have seen this year with Justin, you can go back and watch when he's on the sideline. I bet you'll see something similar. So I think that's, something that he's watched, tape of him, and they do have similar game, but Justin's going to want to be Justin. And I just know he has a lot of respect for Russell.
Real quick on that, Matt, you yourself have kind of tempered expectations of Komet, saying like he's not Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey's at such a high level. It's kind of unfair to Cole. Is the same thing applied to Wilson and Justin? I mean, can Justin become what Russell Wilson is, or is that setting the bar just too high?
No, it's not setting the bar high, but I just believe that any of these quarterbacks, really any position, like you said with Kelsey and Komet, all these quarterbacks are different for different reasons. But Justin's going to make his own path and blaze his own trail, and however it's going to be, people are going to be wanting to be Justin Fields. And whatever that is, whatever type of quarterback that is, whatever he does in his career. But there's always these quarterbacks, these great quarterbacks, they all have so much respect for each other because they grow up watching each other. And so I don't want to compare or say, yeah, he's going to be Russell or better or worse than him. I just know that when you talk to, any of these guys, they're all going to have mutual respect.
Thank you.
Yep.
Matt Finley.
Matt, a quick housekeeping thing, and then I'll ask my question. Is Bill or Tabes back yet?
They're not back yet. We're still waiting to see where they're at. I would expect that they're getting closer, but they're not back here yet.
Okay. And with Justin, with the ankle, do you foresee this being something that prevents him from playing Sunday? Do you guys know yet?
No, we don't. I don't see it being that way. But again, you always want to be smart, and we're going to be that way. Just like we treat every injury for every player. We'll be more cautious than anything to make sure that every day and every hour that passes that he's feeling better. Like I said, I mean, he obviously played through it. So we just got to now see as it goes and just see where he's at the rest of the week.
Dion.
Matt, obviously this season has not gone the way that you intended, or even for Justin to go through a 4-10 season. Where do you think has been the biggest value for him in just getting these reps now on the field, even though things have not been successful, at least getting that experience?
Yeah, the experience is great for him. And then I would say, Dion, also, you get to see the dynamics of, the relationships of how people are when you're winning, how people are when you're losing. You can see, and that's not just the coaches, but that's player by player too. You get to really see where guys are when stuff gets tough, when things aren't easy. It reveals a lot of people's character of who they are. And so, I know that right now for him, he's probably taking note of all of that. That's the big picture thing off the field. When you're on the field, every rep he gets is going to help him grow to become a great quarterback. And it's not going to happen overnight that, this year, next year down. It's going to take a little bit of time, and he's going to continue to grow every year. But in the end, it's going to be awesome because he's going to have, it's going to be a really good one. So I'm sure it's probably easier to ask him, but I think he's taken a lot from this year.
And you don't think, Matt, because I know that the original plan was not for him to play as much as he has this year, you don't think any of it's been wasted?
Any of him
Any
playing?
of his time playing? Yeah.
No. I mean, again, we stuck to the plan, and the plan was to do that because, you can see as you go through a rookie year, a lot of these rookie quarterbacks, what they're going through right now, you see it. And, if you look at, there's different ways that you can look back and say, yeah, this season helped him 3 or 4 years down the road. You could say this season helped him because he had X amount of snaps in this season. Whereas you have other scenarios and other teams that are going through maybe a little different scenario where a rookie quarterback's not playing, and no one on this call, myself included, can say if that's going to help or hurt that quarterback in that situation until 3 or 4 years down the road. That's just real. So, there's experiences from both sides. And I think that now we played out our situation. Andy got hurt. Justin came in and proved to us that he was able to play. and we knew there was going to be ups and downs, and he's continued to grow and get better every game. And anybody will tell you that. So to see that, I would say now you fast forward and you look and you say, okay, this is going to be good for him, because he also is very mature and he knows where his weaknesses are and he knows where his strengths are. And so knowing that, it's going to help him in the end. And that's just the way it went for us this year because of certain circumstances.
Dan?
Matt, through a critical lens, what was your overall assessment of Justin's pocket poise on Monday night?
His pocket poise?
Yeah.
Pretty good. I really believe there was a couple times he had some guys in his face where his follow through, his arm was getting hit, which is in the NFL that occurs. I would say there's a couple plays you discussed it the other day on the play action where, he took the bad sack on the 14-yard loss. And again, like if you feel like it's not there, then that ends up, you throw the ball away or you scramble, and he knows that. He knew that right away. But I really think that one of his greatest strengths this whole time as a rookie is his footwork in the pocket. I know Flip works it every day. His eyes and his vision, his patience, his progression, all of that has really gotten better and better and improved going back from that Cleveland game, that first game in Cleveland, and it's very simple. It's not because of what he knew or didn't know at the time. It's just he's getting more opportunities there, seeing some of these defenses and more confidence within the concepts of the offense.
And then specifically, what do you find most notable about his evolving chemistry with Darnell? Obviously, they're both growing, and they seem like they got a connection.
It's really neat to see. They're both wired the same way. Every day after practice, those two guys, literally every day, they talk about and they rep out different reps, different routes. Some are full speed, some are just discussing how they're going to do this or that. I think it's a special connection. It's a connection that those two guys, being as young as they are, is going to be one that's going to be hard to stop down the road. So it's pretty neat to see two young guys like that believe in each other.
Thanks.
Mike Berman?
Matt, you've got the dueling goals of wanting Justin to get as much from these last handful of games, but also wanting to make sure he's healthy. How do you balance that when he's dealing with injuries? Do you ever consider, just for being overly cautious, shutting him down? How do you balance all that for him?
No, I mean, we communicate, hey, where are you feeling? How are you? All these guys, regardless of the record, these guys, we all have an obligation, coaches and players, regardless of being, knocked out of the playoffs and not being able to make the playoffs, to go out and do everything we can to win, to play together, to work for each other, play together. And that's just how these guys, there's a reason they're all in the NFL, because they're all competitive as hell and they care. And so when you talk about injuries, they're all a little bit separate, and Justin's with him, we will always make sure that we protect the player, and we'll never put a player at risk. We will make sure we protect the player, and then we'll find out what that balance is. And then we can move forward with knowing what that plan is. And we do that together. We communicate together. There's nothing hidden. It's just real talk.
Matt Zahn?
Coach, you kind of just touched on this. This is a little bit new territory for you guys to be eliminated from playoff contention, still having games left. How do you make sure guys stay engaged? And do you change anything at all?
Change nothing. But at the same point in time, you do have to, we all have to understand that this is, there's some players that they've lived in this world, and they've been in week, 14, 15, 16, 13, and you're knocked out. And that has not been the case for the teams, fortunately for me, that I've been on in my NFL career. So it is new territory. There's some that have never been through this, and coaches and players. So what you got to do is just what I said to you, is we all have an obligation to do everything we can to continue to get better, not just as a team, but individually, to grow and do it together. These guys have a lot of time and hours put together. And so how do you grow and how do you use that? Everyone has a different story. And so again, when you keep a positive environment in the building and you keep practice light and these guys just understand it's still fun. Like this is not, as much as it stinks that we're losing and it's hard. It's not easy. These guys are still coming every day with a smile on their face and trying to play, work hard and produce on game day. And I think you saw that with the effort this past weekend.
All right, time for a couple more. Steve Leventhal.
Yeah, hi, Coach. I don't know. I didn't hear any updates on Jakeem's status, but if he's not able to go this weekend, how comfortable are you with Bird back on punt returns?
Yeah. So if he's not able to go, Demir being back there, again, Demir, it's unfortunate what happened the other day. And I know Demir more than anybody wants that back, but I have a lot of confidence in Demir. I think that he's somebody that he's done it before. We also have some other players too, whether it's a guy like Daz Newsome too, that's been back there and stuff. So we'll look at everything, but it's too bad that happened last weekend because what Demir has done for us this year in so many different roles, I appreciate that.
And last one, Pat Finley.
Matt, now that Larry's back, is he your starting right tackle? And what role does Jermaine play in things?
Well, him just getting back, we're working through all that. So that's something that Juan, myself, we'll talk through that and see. But he just literally got back.
Is it safe to say that you'd like to see more, or that you'd like to see him out there in the next couple of weeks?
He's done a great job with really, really playing hard and doing good things. So, we take all that into consideration. Afedi has done the same thing. Jason Peters, the same thing, and Tevin, you saw with him improving. So I think more than anything, Pat, we look at it as if there's depth there. And is it easy as you go through making all those decisions? No, it's not. But what is good to know is that you have depth there. And so it's a good problem to have. We'll discuss it and we'll do what we think is best.